4. Carter calling in from Dallas. Hey, Carter, you're on with Stacy.
Hi. Yeah, I missed. I watched some of the DNC last night, and it really ticked me off. I couldn't believe they were showing stuff from January 6th. But what really, it was so low of them, not just to show January 6th footage, but we all know that not much happened that day, and everyone was peaceful. I can't believe they made AI videos of MAGA people fighting with police and breaking windows. We all know that didn't happen. No one did that. We also saw the Tucker Carlson videos. People were just walking around peacefully. How can they use AI videos to make it look like January 6th was violent? Have you ever seen anything so ridiculous?
Well, there was some violence on January 6th. There were some people who were violent on January 6th. Yeah. And everyone who's seen the footage has seen that.
Those were AI. That was AI
I haven't seen
footage,
anyone
right?
allege that was AI. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I thought I'd get you to buy it.
To buy what?
You're a little more honest than I thought you'd be.
To buy what? What would I be buying there? I'm not understanding.
Some of the hosts have said to me when I posed that question, they go, "Oh yeah, it was AI."
Let me put you on hold. So Carter is calling in, and he's not a serious person, and he's calling in to make a mockery of my program and basically alleging that I'm a dishonest person. And the issue here is not that I'm honest or dishonest, because you can listen to the show. I actually provide all of the links to the stories that we discuss and the links to the guest, and you can go to my website, click on the link to the story, read it, and then you can actually do a Google search or Bing search or whatever your search engine is. You can search the story and read all across the internet all of the different people who've written either opinion or fact-based stories. You can click the links within the articles and check and see if what I said on the air matched up with what the article said, or if what I said on the air had any basis in fact. When I talk about opinion on the program, when I give my opinion on something that someone has said, again, you can type it into the search engine and you can double check it. And believe me, SiriusXM is the type of audience where people have done that. I have had people follow up with me over stories that I've covered here on the show, and they've said, I didn't see that data. I didn't see the information that you shared. And they've asked me for further documentation and further links. And sometimes it takes me a minute to get back to them, but I do. I send them whatever I have to support what I shared on the program. And so, this is my job. This isn't a joke to me. I don't take it as a joke. I don't sit here and lie all evening. I don't malign people. I'm not here to mock people or make fun. And I certainly don't think it's funny to basically represent yourself to the call screener as being one person. And then when you get on with me, to attempt to make a mockery of what I do here on the air as some kind of joke, that might be something that you think is cool because maybe you don't have a real job, or you don't have any integrity, or maybe you're the kind of person who thinks mocking other people at work is like, that's fun. And that might be the only joy that you get in your life. Maybe you don't have a family, or maybe you don't have friends, or maybe you don't have a serious endeavor that you're pursuing in your life. And so the only thing that you have is the opportunity to call in and try to make a mockery out of the show. But the real deal here on this program is that you can't make a mockery out of something that is a serious endeavor that I spend hours and hours and hours of my week outside of the time that I'm on the radio researching and reading and actually pouring into what is my job. This is actually my job. And so it's not funny to me if I'm sitting here and I'm talking about something and what I'm putting out isn't the truth. That to me is a dereliction of duty on my part, and I take that very seriously. And so, I'm always happy if this is what you need to lift yourself up, to call in and try to make a mockery. It's on you, but it doesn't actually work because I actually take this very seriously, and this is a serious program. And the information that I put out, all of the stories are actually in the show notes. Every bit of it can be checked. If you disagree with the opinion, no big deal. No one's ever going to agree with me 100%, not even my husband. But if you're disagreeing on facts or something that I've said, if you're saying I've lied or I've said something that's not true, that's just not going to fly here. because I'm either going to fact check it and say, oh, I got that wrong, or I'm going to fact check it and say, nope, I'm right about that, which I say far more often than the former. So Carter is still hanging on. Maybe he has more jokes for us. Carter, is there anything else that you'd like to mock me for or make a joke out of here on the program?
Has anyone seen Melania? I'm concerned about her.
Well, I'm concerned about you. Are you married?
Yes,
No?
I am.
You are. You're married. Okay. Are you happy?
Very much.
Do you have a good marriage?
I have a lovely home.
Do you
I
have children?
2 homes. I have a successful business.
So I'm
good
wondering,
marriage.
Carter,
I have 2 grown kids.
if you think that we should believe you, because since you've called in, you've been lying. And so should we believe that you're happily married? Because if you were happily married, wouldn't you be sitting up with your wife tonight, maybe having a glass of wine, unwinding, instead of calling in here?
I'm a happy never Trumper.
We don't believe you. Yeah. So guess what my husband doesn't do in the evening time if we're going to spending time together on the weekend? He doesn't waste his time calling up radio hosts and trying to crack jokes, talking about someone else's wife. He's just not going to do it. I don't know any men, and I know a lot. I have a ton. I have a massive group of women. We're all in a book club together, and we are actually like the women of the club, that novel. We are like that novel in real life, and we know each other, and we know our husbands know each other, and we spend time together during the year, and we have annual events and all of that. And not one of those men calls up to radio shows to try to talk about Donald Trump's wife or anything else. And so I just don't believe Carter. I don't think he's happy. I don't think he's married. I don't think he owns any homes. I don't think he has success in his life. And I'm actually sad that that's how he's living. I think it's pretty sad that on an evening where you could be sitting back and enjoying a hot cup of tea or a glass of wine or a beer, and, you know, put your feet up on the ottoman and watch a little bit of, you know, maybe some comedy or something, maybe Jerry Seinfeld's last special or anything that's not political, just unplugging. I have to remind myself to do that during the day because I get in a loop where I'm reading and I'm doom scrolling on social media and everything's about politics. And I have to remind myself to unplug from that and, you know, basically sit down with my husband, have lunch, have dinner, have something to unplug. And I just can't imagine ever wasting my time calling into a radio show and trying to convince the host that they're lying about something. I'm not wired that way, but that's because I have a small modicum of blessings that God has given to me in my life. And I'm so grateful for those. And I wouldn't want to mess any of that up. So, 866-95-PATRIOT, 866-957-2874. Anybody else believe that he's a successful guy? All right, we'll take the break. When we get back, we have more callers to talk to who actually have lives. We'll be right back. The record, I have not heard one host on this network say that the issues on January 6th were AI generated. Not one. I don't even know where that comes from. And I don't believe that other hosts on SiriusXM Patriot Channel have called January 6th AI generated. The footage that was released, what little of it we've been able to get our hands on, does show some people parading around the Capitol. It does show some scenes of people kind of rioting. Nothing worse than anything we've seen from Antifa or organized rioters on the left. So I don't know. I'm not sure why that was, like, we just don't have any of that going on here on this show. Matt in Maryland, thanks for the call.
Hey, Stacy, thanks for taking the call. And, one thing I've always appreciated about your show in particular, as opposed to others, is you allow callers to actually speak. And I find that actually pretty engaging because I like to hear what other people out there other than the host, and I love hearing what you have to say without a doubt. But I like hearing what the general citizens out there are kind of chit-chattering about. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. I like hearing it too. I mean, I'm thinking, what are people thinking? You know what I mean? It's nice.
Well, and that used to be something that. I'm 51 years old now. I remember in the 90s, I was younger, and have political conversations. I've been concerned.
economic literacy, and whether or not Kamala Harris has any. And this is a far more important topic than whether or not Melania was at a rally or the outfit she wore last or even January 6th. Because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but people who just rioted, rioting is not a felony, by the way, unless you kill somebody. You have people who rioted on January 6th who've been in jail for almost 4 years. I need people to kind of sit with that for a minute. We don't talk about it a ton. I try to bring it up, frequently to keep those people and their memory alive. But the fact is, it's kind of been memory hold in the same way that President Trump has been memory hold. So for those who want to know where Melania is, I'd like to know where your decency is. President Trump was shot. What do you have to say about that? So for people who want to ask questions about Melania Trump, I can tell you where she is. She's either in Bedminster, New Jersey, or she's in Mar-a-Lago, or she's at Trump Doral, if you are from Miami, or any one of the other hundreds of properties owned by the Trump family. They literally own enough buildings. She doesn't have to sleep at the same place ever in a year span. So where is she? Doing whatever she wants, living her best life. I'm more concerned about what impacts us. So 866-95-PATRIOT. More calls after this. We'll start off with the guest and then we'll come back to you. We'll be right back with more.